Welcome to the Unchecked Sports Pod, where we aren't verified public figures on social media, but we are obsessed sports fans with lots and lots of opinions. We are recording on Tuesday, May 20th from Denver, Colorado. My name is Jordan Redding, and I'm here with my co-host, Austin Jarvis. Austin, what happened in the world of sports in the last, 5-6 days since we spoke last?
We got a really sad Austin over here. Let me tell you what.
Ooh.
I was so hyped for Game 7. I'm like, those are the best two words in sports. Game 7. That gets you real excited. It makes you it made me so energized until the second quarter.
Obviously, he's talking about the Nuggets, lost to the Thunder, and not my favorite. Definitely not the outcome that we here in Denver were looking for. But sorry, I'm turning my do not disturb on. I think hot take for a second. I think the Nuggets overperformed in that series. I think.
MPJ averaged 9 points a game, and that was luck. That only reason that the average is so high was because he scored 2 games that were over 10 points.
Yeah.
So it leveled them out. But, oh my gosh, I am so furious that furious but happy because you're right. We overperformed.
Yeah.
We pushed the number 1 seed, 60-plus wins to Game 7.
Yeah, won on their home court, yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think they did a lot of things really, really well. There were obvious problems with, their turnovers were crazy. Russ, not a good ending for him. He was a turnover machine when he was out there. It was crazy to watch.
I think his plus minus was minus 92.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Oh. I read that and I was like, this is why we lost. And I'm like, to an extent, I'm like, yeah, you can blame it on just Westbrook because that is ridiculous. But it was a team. Like, there's no reason.
I feel like, so obviously Aaron Gordon had his best season, I think, ever. Certainly best playoffs. I was listening to a few pods earlier today while doing stuff, and some people were saying like he might have been one of the 5 best players in the playoffs so far.
Oh, yeah.
And so played great. Obviously him hobbled. Porter didn't play great. I think,
the shoulder pad didn't do him justice.
It didn't help, even though it wasn't a shooting arm. That still, it throws you off,
Yeah, and the way MPJ attacks any jumper or anything, he needs full range of motion because of how high he puts it over his head and the type of shots that he creates for himself. That's the thing that drives me insane is I know when MPJ touches the ball, it's like glue. It ain't going nowhere. It's just going to the basket.
Yeah, and I think if he's hitting, if Murray's hitting, if the floor is stretched, then Russ can be effective. Russ still, like, he went after some rebounds and did made plays like that, but just misses
he
open
also
layups.
Shot 10 threes a game.
Exactly. Well, it's because they weren't the other players weren't hitting threes, so they were slacking off on defense, almost like, hey, we'll let you shoot another 3. Then literally. Russ was like, I got it. And
it makes me want to just go back to our clips from the beginning of the offseason last year and just hammering what I said about picking up Klay Thompson. Just hammering that fact of like,
I don't know if Klay is shooting, I think the issue with Klay is you're paying for the name Klay Thompson, but you're getting a Duncan Robinson, right? You're getting someone who isn't good enough.
With
Jokic, for that money.
Though, you almost get like a LeBron-esque situation where Jokic makes everyone around him better.
Yeah.
He is getting Christian.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we can love, hate Christian, he plays horrible offense to an extent. Like, this playoffs, he's been showing up, and it's been nice. But it's been a long stretch of him only being there for our defense.
Yeah, and honestly, I almost feel like, if the hard thing about when you're getting limited minutes is figuring out consistency, but Strother showed something, right?
Oh, what a dog!
Yeah,
I'm
it
so
had a
happy to
fun
see
game.
glimpse.
Did not follow it up with a good game at all.
No,
The closeout game, he was. I mean, I didn't see him score a bucket, and I saw him
I think
shoot a few times.
yeah, I think
So
he was definitely feeling himself. That's for sure.
and I think for someone that is a shooter, that I mean, you want them to be confident, but then you want to find more consistency. Working
Yeah,
with Joker, again, he opens up the floor. He brings out the best in people. So I'm hoping going into next season that Strother might be a bigger option, and that does make me question if Christian Brown would remain, a starter, or does he move to the three if they get rid of MPJ and it's Strother and him? They need to do something. I
I
mean,
agree because I think Strother is a true two, if
yeah,
that makes sense. And
yeah,
when we have Murray and Brown out on the floor, they're two true, not even true ones, but they both play one basketball, so they almost
yeah.
conflict each other to an extent.
To me, what is frustrating, I feel like where the Nuggets would get really good is if they had a 3-and-D wing,
Yes,
like a true three. And honestly, a couple names come to mind as who they either could have and should have gone for, or who they could still, maybe try to make a play for. One, Andrew Wiggins, who's,
yeah,
sitting. I mean, think about it. Your third or fourth option to score. I mean, at this point, if it's not Jamal or Joker, I want Aaron Gordon shooting the
oh
three.
yeah,
Like, oh my gosh, he was incredible. And so
career high in shooting too.
yeah, and I feel like Wiggins, when he is your fourth option, is good. I feel like a wish they would have considered it. DeAndre Hunter, I feel like would have been awesome, just
That
a
would have
dog
been
on defense.
amazing.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's what they need. They don't, because MPJ is supposed to be a high level scorer. Obviously, he's not scoring, so that's not
Keyword
good.
supposed to.
And he's not great on defense. Now he's not Tyler Hero level. Hey, we're gonna target him on defense. Like,
Yeah,
he's not that bad, but I keep wanting him to. I feel like he'll show flashes of being an absolute, sniper, and then he'll go for 5 or 6 or 7 games where he's scoring you single digits. I mean, it's crazy.
yeah, it is ridiculous, and it's crazy to think that we just let it continue to happen. It's like we're just stagnant with it, and we're just like, oh, it'll get better, it'll get better, and it's like it hasn't gotten better.
But he showed enough glimpses to where you had to give him the extension, right?
Yes,
Like you had
exactly.
to. Like he had some good enough games where you're like, all right, I like where this is going. When he hits his prime, we want to be there for that. And then he might not get a third contract, but at least through the second. And I think at this point, having seen what he has, it's like I would consider moving on if I
I would,
were.
yeah, try and find a trade for just we need like you said a good 3D guy with assets, a six man Jordan Clarkson. If he, I know he's old, but get like someone
Yeah.
like him. That is what we need.
Yeah, kind of like what the Lakers did a few years ago with like Rondo coming off the bench. Just like
Yeah,
get Drew Holiday. I think he's too expensive, but someone
he.
like that.
I heard a lot of rumors that he's getting moved this offseason.
Oh, I mean, it has to be. I mean, I don't think they
Hammer Tingus
can.
Pingus.
Yeah, because you can't move Tatum because injury, right? Except you can't trade
Yeah,
someone who's injured.
I've been seeing a lot of rumors of Jalen Brown.
I've heard a couple about Brown that I thought would be. I've seen Brown for Cooper Flag, which
Oh,
that's wild. Like if they
that
traded
is
for the number
wild.
one overall pick with Jalen
I
Brown, and
I've
you know,
seen the second pick for the Spurs sending Jalen Brown over there.
that'd be crazy. So
And
anyway, let's
yeah,
not get ahead of ourselves. I think for the Nuggets though, they need to. You're right. They need. I wonder if they re-sign Westbrook. I mean, maybe they do at another 2 million.
it's a player option.
Oh, so
So
he'll opt in.
he, we'll see. Because I watched a clip and they were like, "Hey Westbrook, are you gonna, you going back to the Nuggets?" And he asked the reporter, he goes, "Do you know what you're wearing tomorrow?" And the dude said, "No." He goes, "That's your answer," and walked away. Like
Dang.
he doesn't know yet. So it's
Wow.
just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's made me kind of wonder. I'm like, is he really just gonna up and leave? And would I be mad? No,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like I don't know. It's to me hit or miss. I think
It
his
is.
upside is like when he is playing well, you could see
You
that
get
he's a
18
former.
points off the bench
Yeah, like
on the
he's.
upside.
But downside is minus or plus 92 or whatever he was
Minus
minus 92.
92.
Yeah, sorry, not plus.
Uh,
Yeah. Ugh.
2 for 10 from the three and 4 points, and then 6 fouls on top of that.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, it'll be interesting. Yeah. If it were me, I'd be looking to offload MPJ, even though he played through that injury in a very impressive way. That made me like
Yeah.
MPJ a lot. But I just think you have to make a change. Aaron Gordon, to me, is not an option.
No,
Jamal
you have to keep
Jamal
AG.
Murray is the if who you could get is very substantial or the package you could get, I would consider Jamal just because of injury history.
Giannis? Question mark. Do we
I don't know.
pair? You go Jokic at the five, Giannis
Gordon
at the
moves to the
four,
three.
AG at the three, and then that's where
Who do you give up? MPJ and Jamal?
yeah,
Do
and
you get
then
Dame
Zeke.
too? I don't think you could
That's
afford
a
him.
lot of contract actually. Yeah,
I don't think
I
you
wouldn't want
he's
Dame after
no, you
everything,
definitely don't want
especially
Dame.
with being in the Mile High City. I don't know if that how well that would go with his condition.
That's true. That's very true. Huh.
I
I
think
mean,
that might actually make it worse if he can't
yeah.
if he like lived in Denver.
Obviously, if you can get Giannis, yes. Like, I mean, he is the type of player that I, you have to make sure that lineup doesn't get clogged up. And with Joker, he can
That's
stretch at least, right?
yeah,
And so then AG can stretch. You just need to make sure you don't have other players that are,
can't shoot.
mid-range. Exactly. Like you need good shooters around a Giannis. And I think in this day and age in the NBA, you can really only have one guy who can't shoot on the floor. Like, and
Yeah,
even then it's tough. If you have two, it's just like that defense, you just go to a zone and let
yeah,
them.
you don't need to break down anything because they're not going out to the perimeter.
Well, yeah, and then you priority the three good shooters on the team, and so
Yeah,
yes, the bad shooters will get an open shot, but a Giannis open three, I am comfortable with him taking it. Because it's like what 30% he might make it, like
I'll
three
take
out of
it.
10. Yeah, so when you're the other team, you let Giannis shoot, and that's where it's like you can get away with one, but not two. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, let's do the same exercise. Obviously, we also saw the Warriors lose in what was it, game five?
5. Yeah,
Yeah, to the Timberwolves, and Wolves look good. I think when you looked at what that potential matchup would be with the size of Minnesota, it made sense that they destroyed the Warriors,
yeah,
and then obviously Steph gets hurt too, and
yeah. Steph was huge, and honestly, we, Robin needed to be Batman, and Alfred needed to be Robin, and they didn't show up.
I think time will, and I wish Jimmy Butler well. I do, but he kind of proved Pat Riley's point. And I also
Yep.
understand though that Riley's taking a lot of heat right now, and there is a growing contingency of Miami Heat fans that are like, "Do we move on from him? Like, has he aged out of this?" I agree with him on not extending Jimmy Butler. I disagree with not moving him earlier or bringing someone
Yeah,
in. I don't think Dame was the answer. So it also was while he was there, what were the options for who we could, who the Heat could have gotten. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So anyway, Jimmy had a lackluster series, let's
yeah.
say. Obviously, Steph is going nowhere. Obviously, their biggest need would
As
be
a center,
a center, like a defense heavy center as well.
yeah,
Probably a stretch five center. Like, do you need with Draymond on the team? I think you would probably be moving Draymond at this point.
yeah. I think they're planning to keep Draymond because Kerr came out and said that Draymond can't play the five all year, so we need to go pick out a center for so we can drop him back to the four.
So they're probably looking to get a center, let's call it like $15 million or less.
Yeah.
So then it's not there were names, Miles Turner, who's always seems to be on the trade block, or you couldn't go get a Sabonis. Like you're getting a, you know, trying to think.
I know. I'm trying to think of like I mean,
Hmm.
Jarrett Allen's con. No, who was the Jarrett Allen's.
Is
It's
he a
like
free
a
agent? I
Derek
think
Jones.
he'll get more though. He'll get
That's what I was gonna say. Like
25.
that's more than him or
And
less
that's
than him.
and that's where it's like I just think you have to also be realistic. Draymond Green is not the defender he once was. He's still a solid defender and plays it tough. Um, he cannot shoot. I mean,
Can't play any type of def or offense
yeah,
whatsoever.
struggles on offense. Is though, I mean, I guess the heart of your team, and you did kind of choose him over Clay, which with injury history, I understand.
Yeah.
Dang, I mean, yeah, what? I'm trying to think of a big that would kind of fit that. I mean, might be like a Mitchell Robinson type, maybe,
Yeah.
like kind of that type of player.
You just lose all shooting
Yeah.
in if you pick him up.
But for a team like that that has Jimmy and Steph, which when those
You
guys
don't
are
need to.
hitting,
Yeah.
I
That could
feel,
be your one guy that doesn't shoot.
yeah, I feel like, I mean, is Kaminga, is he a
He's a
free
free agent.
agent?
Yeah.
Restricted though, or unrestricted? I
I
think he might
at
be
first
restricted,
read it was unrestricted, but now I think it's restricted.
right? Like he's coming off his rookie deal. So
Yeah. So
or
I,
maybe though he did his rookie extension, he might be unrestricted. Regardless, I don't think he stays.
I don't think so either.
They cut his minutes like crazy. Like
And he averaged 25 points in the last 4 games off the
yeah.
bench.
Now the Warriors would probably try to sign him and do like a sign and trade to get something. That's how you could get a center potentially if you can make that fit. But they are going to be apron. They'll have to pay attention to the
Oh
apron and
yeah.
what's going on. Yeah, that is. I don't know. So obviously that leads us to the Western Conference Finals, where we have an interesting matchup.
I think the Giants are going down. The Giant Slayers are coming to town, man.
So
The
you're
Wolves are coming to eat.
so the Giant Slayers are the Wolves because I feel like they
Yeah.
both have bigs. I mean, Rudy
They
Gobert
do.
offers nothing on offense, but
I
obviously
I guess I was considering the Giant as like the big dog, the number one.
that's true. Oh, that's true. And obviously the Hartenstein Chet duo,
Yeah.
we will see that kind of
You
unleashed.
know,
Chet needs to play better. Chet is
that's what I
not
was
playing
just gonna
good.
say. Is honestly the Chet he doesn't move the needle for me on defense. Because of the fact AG was cooking him.
Yeah,
I know AG has
and
been
guarding him,
playing.
locking him down. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
he
playing
couldn't score.
great defense on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Chet needs to play better if they have a chance.
I was disappointed. And honestly, he is one of a very small group of people that I have kind of followed since AAU stuff, like came up on
Yeah.
Instagram. So I feel like him and like Zion, there are a couple players where for some reason they were just like fed into my algorithm and I'm like all about it. I want them to do well. And Chet is one of those guys where it's like, dude, he obviously loves the ball. You just gotta, let him cook, and he is not cooking right
Not
now. It
cooking.
is no bueno.
Yeah. What really sucked is how much Caruso was guarding. Whenever Caruso was guarding Jokic, he was getting cooked. Jokic was.
Yeah, I mean,
Caruso had so
like
many
they were like,
fouls on
hey,
him.
he's smaller. Let's definitely let him foul. Like I felt like
Yeah.
every time it was like Caruso was like throwing
Sorry, but
bows into his back,
yeah.
man. It was crazy.
Didn't mean to go back to the Nuggets, but it just made me thinking about that.
Yeah, but as a game plan, that really worked. I mean,
Yeah,
whether
it
or
really did.
not, I think you have to play to what they're calling, and if they're not going to call it, if the refs aren't, then the Nuggets have to figure out a solution, and they did not. I mean,
Right? And do you think that they'll do that to Rudy Gobert, having Caruso maybe because he's not as big of an offensive threat?
that's the thing. Yeah, you're wasting a
But
defensive player if you put.
yeah,
I would keep Hartenstein sitting there or Chet.
yeah,
Just have
that's a
them
good
on
point.
Gobert and be like, hey, take a breather. And then when you get on offense, like keep Gobert, like you need to stay out on the three. So I bet Chet gets a lot of playing time just to get Gobert out of the paint. Have
Yeah,
him, yeah.
to declog that because there's going to be a lot. Like you said, there's a lot of big guys, and Julius Randle has been playing great. So hopefully he plays bigger than he is.
Randall has been playing incredible. I mean,
Incredible.
And he's just one of those guys that can, and you just ride the wave until the wave dies, and it can die at any
Yeah.
time, right? Like, and so while he is playing great, I feel like he had some pretty good matchup advantages against the Warriors in
Yeah.
particular, where like that whole series seemed like it was built for a power forward to have a really good series, and
Yeah.
that's what he is. Um, but yeah, I mean, to me, it all obviously it this whole Ant versus Shea will be awesome.
It's gonna be
Like that's
great.
gonna be awesome. I mean, just because they are both guards, like obviously Joker versus Shea was also awesome, but Ant is one of those guys that I don't think he's ever really made a serious MVP nod, just with how
No.
good Joker has been, and he is one of those guys that I consider an MVP potential candidate.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen next year, I mean, at some point,
He
um,
led the league in threes this year.
which is such a different part of his game. I mean, he was supposed to
It
be a
is
basket attacking guard, was like
like a
out of
slasher.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, supposed to be
That
Dwayne
was what he
Wade,
did.
and he's
Yeah.
stroking. Oh,
Yeah. I am excited to see that matchup, and I do think the Timberwolves come out on top. T Wolves in 6.
first game's tonight, right?
Yep.
Ooh boy,
What's your predictions? How we feeling?
you think Timberwolves in 6?
I do.
I think OKC in. I'm hoping 7, man. Let's have it go 7. Like let's just keep. It's been an awesome playoffs. Like it has
Yeah.
been. I kind of fell out a little bit on the Warriors thing. Once Steph got hurt, I kind of
I
tuned
didn't
out on those. Like didn't
yeah,
really watch them as much.
knew
But
what was gonna happen there.
yeah, but there were. I mean, I feel like the Knicks Celtics. I mean, until
The
once Tatum
Celtics
got
going
hurt.
down.
Yeah, once Tatum got hurt, you knew it was over. I mean, he's
Yeah.
they. What's crazy is the Celtics are good enough on paper with Tatum out to still be able to do it, but it was just against that Knicks team. That's a
It's a
man.
good team.
Everyone, myself included, I accuse them of overpaying for Mikal Bridges, for OG, and man, seeing those guys play defense in the playoffs is awesome. I mean,
They're doing so great.
yeah. And I honestly feel like, it's a similar setup to, again, we're going to keep going back to the Nuggets, but if they got another dog defender with Aaron Gordon as well out there, it's just like the things you can do, the switches you can make,
Yeah.
if you can put OG Anunoby on a center and he might make a play, he might get overpowered. It's possible, but like he's just capable of doing it. And that gives you so much more flexibility with switches. And, yeah, I don't know. We'll get to the Eastern Conference here in a second, but I'm very excited for that. I think OKC, I think they just weathered their toughest storm, and honestly, I
Yeah.
think OKC more than any other team was built to beat the Nuggets more than anyone. Or their matchups seem more advantageous than any other Western Conference team I can think of.
Yeah.
Just with having two centers, and it was what you predicted with Hartenstein. I mean, so good, and I feel like again he did a solid job on Joker. Like
He
it,
really did. It sucked to see it because I didn't want. I'm seeing him tap rebounds out of his hands and just like
yeah.
doing everything they can to get him off his game, and it worked.
And that's where it can't be a one-man army. You know what I mean? And once AG's hammy was out again, it was 3-3 against a team that did not lose a lot, especially at home. Like it was, I mean, so close. Once AG, I mean, in warm-ups, he wasn't sprinting. He wasn't trying to do anything explosive. Was hobbling, and your legs are a big part of how you score. And, I think all you had to do was guard Jamal and Joker. And you could double team both of them, leave the other guys open. Injured Porter wasn't going to hit. Injured AG wasn't going to hit. Then who? Christian Brown? How did he do? With a lot of open shots. Not great. So
Exactly. I think that was, like you said, they were able to just game plan it perfectly because you take it. All you have to do is focus on the two guys that can score.
Yeah.
Because the other two guys are hurt. One dude, his shoulder's messed up, so he can't even get the ball up barely. The other dude, his base is off because it's his hamstring.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do think, though, OKC went through their toughest battle. I don't know that I wonder if they're less nervous about the Wolves. I wouldn't be, but the Nuggets, obviously, they put together a really good round. I I hope it goes to another game 7, but I have OKC just because of the MVP. I think they have the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
I hope it is Shea outscoring, not out getting fouled, because that there were a couple games. I
Foul
mean, he
baiting.
hunts for it a little bit. I mean, he James Hardens a little bit, and you're kind of like, bro, be better. Like, just be better than that. That can't be how you play, you know?
Yeah, there was a one clip where it was Jokic and SGA trading flops. And I was like, guys, come on. Really? I love Jokic, but they were literally both flew their hands up in the same time,
Yeah,
both trying to get the foul. And I'm like, guys, we don't need a foul bait.
yeah,
Just play the game.
yep,
I agree with you on OKC playing the hardest opponent was the Nuggets. I think if we won that series, we were going to win the championship.
yeah.
I still think the Timberwolves are going to win though,
I
just
like it.
because I think everyone every cylinder has been clicking for them to an extent.
Yeah,
I think they were able to get everything out in the Warriors series, and they were able to do it quick. So they spent 5 games of just awful shooting
yeah.
and just getting it out of their systems. And even against the Lakers, 3 games out of the 5, they shot awful.
My issue is they have two series wins against teams without size. And that
Yeah,
would to me would be like when you have Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, like I guess my expectation would be you would steamroll those guys and go inside. And your
yeah,
outside shooting doesn't matter because they're going to be so paranoid they're going to have to start cracking down on the size that is overpowering them inside, and then you dish it out and get open threes, and that hopefully opens up that side of the game as well. And so that's where I think, I mean, they're playing a team that can match up with their size. They have two
yeah,
very good centers. And it's so cool to see how we've gone from like small ball era to centers really being relevant. And like
bringing them back. I love it.
being the tie, I mean, and Joker obviously helped. I think everyone freaked out because they saw this absolute unicorn and were like, all right, we gotta figure out how to stop this. This is insane.
Crazy stat with Joker, real quick. He's 10 seasons in the NBA. He's never played with an All Star, All NBA, All First Team, none of it.
Yeah.
Because Murray's never made All Star.
And I think, and that's where I would almost put an asterisk by it because I feel like Murray has been all star level. Like, no, he didn't get the
Yeah,
award, but like, who cares? Like, what matters is
right.
that equivalent, those numbers, being attributed. And that's where I would push back on that. But I will say, I mean, there is Joker's what, 30? So there's a
Yeah,
window. There's a window. And you might get 4 more years, maybe even 2 more years of true dominance, and then he's so skilled that I don't think that's going to go away. But then all of a sudden
yeah.
injuries might happen. All of a sudden and so I would go all in. If I were the Nuggets, I would go all in. we
We have
can't
to.
we can't keep going back to the Nuggets though. We are going to go to the NBA draft. You had an interesting thought about that.
It is rigged. That's how I feel. I can't believe the Mavs got Cooper.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
1.8%.
There, to me, and I've watched a few things about this, and to me, I think when you're struggling with ratings, getting one of the best young players into the largest market with the largest fan base and the largest brand recognition in the NBA, and by that I mean trading Luka Doncic to the
Yeah.
Lakers, it almost seemed like there was a quid pro quo in that. And yeah, I it's hard to consider that fair, or like it's hard. Like when Wimby went to the Spurs, it was like, yeah, they've kind of, they've had 6, 7 years of being bad. Like
Yeah, they deserve this.
unlike my Heat, who never tank, who are always like, we're gonna try to win every game we can, even though we have no chance of, going far in the playoffs. But
Mediocrity is our goal.
we love the play-in. Just love it. It is our favorite.
It's our favorite game of the year.
The Spurs didn't do that, and so it made sense when they got Wimby. It is just hard to understand. Like, it's almost like they should have been, if they were going to cheat, have it be like, hey, it looks like 2 years from now is a really good draft class. We will give you the first overall pick.
Yeah.
To do it in the same year for a player that obviously has been, someone people have talked about since last summer, since the Olympics, and even before then, it does seem like an interesting coincidence.
It does seem very coincidental, if I do say so, and it's I just can't believe it. It's
To
like
me, sports are entertainment. It doesn't ruin that much for me.
it
I will
it
say it
doesn't
doesn't.
yeah, it doesn't ruin it for me. It's
Yeah.
just like this team was in the play-in. Like this was a playoff team.
Yeah.
And when you think of the number one overall pick, you do not think of a team that was in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean yeah, you're right. It's kind of like the when the Warriors got, the second overall pick and who'd they
Yeah,
take?
James
Wiseman?
Wiseman.
Dumb.
That's yeah, passing over
Yeah.
LaMelo and all
I
those things.
forgot that was the LaMelo draft too.
Yep,
Oh, man, that would have been a game changer for the team.
it really would have been.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to, I don't know. I guess for me it's always, they're a business. You can see the business side of why they would have done that.
Yeah,
I would have maybe tried to hide it a little bit more, but that doesn't. The only thing that would make me question is like if they're rigging this, do they go to refs before games and say we want larger market teams? You know what I mean? That would be with the draft. I don't care. Like it's
yeah.
just like you gotta. I don't know. You get who you get, and there are a lot of teams that get the second, third overall pick and absolutely botch it. And there are teams that pick in the lottery and get studs. I mean, I think Donovan Mitchell, I think went like 13th.
Yeah, the Nuggets.
Oh yeah, I forgot he went to the Nuggets. Dang.
And we traded for Trey Lyles.
Your ability to turn things back to the Nuggets is I mean, it's unbelievable. Like it
It
is.
is crazy.
Your ability, I could be like, who I really like watching? Conor McGregor fight. And you could be like, you know what? Actually, one time he was in Denver, and let's talk about the Nuggets. No, I think I don't know. I don't love it. I don't think the optics are great. I would hope that they would realize it would be so suspicious that they wouldn't have done it, and that it really just is this like, wow, who'd have
Yeah, well,
thought?
because the Bulls, it was a coin flip between the Bulls and the Mavs for who got the number 7. So you know how the lottery is, they have all
Yeah.
the numbers. In the last number, it was a coin flip for who got 7. It was 7 and 6. Winner got 7, loser got 6. And of course, the Bulls got 6. And the same thing happened to them back in 2018, the Luka draft. They lost their lottery and they fell back so far. I don't even remember who they picked.
Gosh. Yeah, that I get that they have to do when you see those numbers declining, and especially when, so Mark Cuban has come out and talked about how he was like, he never saw he saw his return for owning the Mavericks once he sold it. He was like,
Yeah.
I lost money in a lot of years, lost money, like hundreds of millions of dollars on it. Like he was like the amount that you need to do it. And so when you think of that, think of kind of what Cuban said. Also think about how high some of these contracts are. I mean, again, bringing up Dame Lillard, $60 million a year for Damian Lillard, right? You could almost see how those guys, as all successful business people, would be like, hey, we're trying to have the next, television deal be higher than this, not lower. And so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's rough to see to an extent, but it's also exciting because we know at least at least that organization isn't as cursed as we thought. But I really wanted to see Nico get fired.
Yeah, and now he kind of looks like a genius.
Yeah, which sucks.
Again, I think he took all that heat because he was like, I'm going to sit here and we're going to get Cooper Flag. And as an NBA fan, I don't think Kyrie will be back next year.
No, right? I don't think so either.
So that's
or at least
a bummer.
Halfway through the season.
Yeah. And yeah, but I mean, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, like some of those pieces, I mean, that will be that'll be a good defense. I mean, a really good defense. And so I don't know. I
It will be like a twin tower situation
yeah,
having the two in AD and that moving AD down to a true four, which he'll love. Like he'll love that.
yeah, yeah.
So I think it was a great like it's gonna be great for Dallas. It just sucks.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. And a lot of times, I mean, think though about how everyone was so pumped about Zion and how that hasn't panned out. So a
Yeah,
lot of times, or Markel Fultz, or like whoever, Ben Simmons. Like, I mean, there are plenty of times where these guys don't live up to expectations. I don't think Cooper Flag is that situation. I mean, everything you hear
yeah.
about him is like he's awesome dude, highly competitive. I don't know. Yeah, I think
You
he's going
want
to
him
be
on your
great.
team,
Right. But he could be a miss, and then we're all like, oh, we freaked out for nothing. All right, let me
right?
switch to a couple things I want to talk about. And
Yeah, let's hear
obviously,
it.
let's start with just talking through the Eastern Conference and kind of what happened in, we have the Eastern Conference Finals coming up. Pacers Knicks, two huge upsets.
Huge.
Pacers more than the Knicks. I feel like people could see a world where that Knicks team, with all that they put into this roster, would be highly competitive. I don't
Yeah,
think with the Pacers anyone saw that coming.
I definitely didn't see that coming, especially in five.
Yeah, I mean, and just absolute. I mean, the Cavs were the number one team in the
Yeah,
East. They looked like they were going to be, the level of the Thunder, like a absolute. I mean,
absolute studs.
I think most people had Thunder, Boston, or Cleveland. So OKC, Boston, or Cleveland as the winning it this year, and so
Well,
it's
they all had
crazy.
over 60 wins this year. Like they were all juggernauts through the whole
Woof.
season.
I mean, are the Cleveland Cavaliers the new like Atlanta Hawks from 10 years ago, where they were always great? With Al Horford and like Josh Smith back in the day, like all
Jeff Teague and
yeah, Teague. I mean, that whole roster who would always look great and then in the playoffs would lose. Or, I mean,
yeah,
you even think of like the Grizzlies when they had like,
Zach Randolph
yeah,
and
Tony
Mike
Allen,
Tom,
like, yeah,
Mike
Conley.
Conley. Tony Allen was a straight dog,
He
and
was. They were
I
awesome. They
he
couldn't
was yeah
win.
he I read something or like watched a video something about Tony Allen how he was never supposed to leave Boston.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, they messed up big time in like that whole conversation because I think the whole thing was like we never wanted to he never wanted to leave Boston. That's where he originally wanted to be. And then some bad stuff happened. That was like what was perfect for him almost because like Memphis, that was their type of ball. It's like
Yeah.
Detroit almost.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's just kind of how it goes. And I mean, I think
Yeah.
very similarly, Cleveland, I feel like they got with the Hunter acquisition. I really was like, man, they have scoring, check. They have defense, check, between Evan
Yeah.
Mobley and DeAndre Hunter and Jared Allen. And they have size to compete with some of these larger teams. It was like, I mean, yeah, but
I think this is where we see Darius Garland get traded in the offseason.
yeah, I mean, you got to get rid of him.
And
Like, you need, yeah,
I would honestly love that for Denver. Trade Zeke
Garland
Naj.
for Murray. You're not trading Nashi for Garland.
No, I was gonna add one more person, but had to make sure we got Najee.
Who? Who are you gonna add?
Well, Zeke Najee is the fifth highest paid Nugget.
Yeah, you
We
bring it
pay
up a
him
lot.
almost $9 million
Yeah,
to ride the bench,
and
keep the
no
seat
one wants
warm.
him. He will not bring in anything valuable.
They
If they try to
plan to
trade, you're
let
not. Yeah,
they like will throw him in occasionally to be like, hey, he does know how to play basketball, but then he doesn't know how to play basketball, and it sucks.
he is your. Yeah, he definitely is your least favorite Nugget. I know that.
Yes,
I know that to be true. Um, yeah. So I mean, I think. Uh,
the
it,
Pacers
yeah,
they looked so good though.
yeah, and I
That
feel like the
was
Knicks
crazy.
did as well. I mean, the fact
Yeah,
that the Knicks came out and when the Celtics were fully healthy, I think the Knicks
taking
beat them
game one
twice.
and yeah, taking game one in the Garden, I
Yeah,
think was the biggest thing, especially
yeah,
like
yeah. I don't know. I think they've been very impressive. just quick, I think looking at both teams, let's kind of like go down down the roster there. I think at center, I don't know. I mean, Mitchell Robinson and Big Cat over, Miles Turner, and
Pascal.
I guess Pascal, yeah, is he's at the four. I mean, I think I would go Big Cat, probably. I think I'd
I
go
think
Knicks
so. Yeah.
there. So then you look at like the forwards, I guess, and I guess you could at that point say Siakam
Yeah.
and who was there three?
Neymar, is it Neymar or I don't need.
This is
Is it
not Obi Toppin. Who?
no? 'Cause he's off the bench.
Yeah.
Neesmith is off. I don't even see. And
Let's
that's the thing
look.
that's kind of crazy to me is that this Pacers team, I can't even name the starting five.
That is kind of crazy. I think that's more us being bad at our jobs than that. Oh, is it Benedict Mathurin?
He's a what? That's crazy.
Is it him?
I it would make. I mean, it can make sense. Yeah, I thought he was a shooting guard, but he's probably taller than I think.
Let me see. We're finding this. Getting.
I'm like, let me.
Oh
Let's go.
no, they have. Yeah, so they. This is saying that Halliburton, Andrew Nimhard, Aaron Neesmith, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd still give the forward position probably
To the
to the
Knicks.
Knicks. Yeah, with OG
Mikel,
and Mikhail.
OG.
And Siakam is still good. I've never been a big Siakam guy. I mean, I he is very good. He is a good, well-rounded. He plays good defense, plays solid offense. Not quite as consistent as I like on the
Yeah.
offensive end. Um, but yeah, I would give that the forward position to the Knicks. So that's two, right? So then you go to the guards: Jalen Brunson, Halliburton, Nimhard, or what is it? Josh Hart at the two?
Or the two or the three, yeah.
Well, then where would OG? So it's
Oh no, you're
Hart.
right at the two.
Yeah, it has to be at the two.
Because yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Who do you take? I mean, maybe Halliburton's better. I mean, I don't know. I feel like let me say this. The second round, I feel like the Pacers win was more definitive and
Yeah.
like more dominating than the Knicks win over the Celtics. And so
Yeah.
and the Cavs were good. And so I think
Cavs were.
it it just seems to me on paper that the Knicks are so much better, but I would have said the same thing about the Cavs over I would have taken the Cavs at every position
Yeah.
over I mean, like it's crazy. And they lost in five. They gentlemen swept.
Yeah.
Injuries in game three, but
Well, even those Mitchell had I think 50 points one game, and
yeah.
still they lost.
I mean, yeah. I want to bring it back to the the Nuggets. The Nuggets. Joker had some pretty good games where they lost as well. So I mean, hey,
He in his career, whenever he scores more than 40, they're 2-6.
yeah. All right, so
Ridiculous.
let's talk then through the losing teams, just like we did in the Western Conference. What do you do if you're the Cavs? What is your obviously re-sign Max Strus to a max
No.
contract?
Did you see how he texted the group chat? He's
I
like, if you're not putting in
did.
work, don't show up.
Yeah,
And then
don't
he
show up.
didn't show up.
You went 0 for 9 or something
0 for
terrible.
9, over 7 from the three.
Oh
Did a
boy.
lot of cardio, and honestly, it made me feel so good.
It Strus was another one of those. I mean, I can always bring it back to the Heat. He was another one of those Heat guys that when they were paying him, I think like $4 million a year as an
Love it, yeah.
awesome value. The second it was like, oh, someone wants to pay him 18, like, oh, we already did that with Duncan. You can't fool me twice. And so we let him go, and he is a streaky shooter who plays tough defense but isn't a great defender. And yeah, I mean that was rough. So I mean, what realistically though,
I
with
would
that,
trade Garland. You got
yeah,
to get. I
I
don't
think
know
Jared
what.
Allen might go to. Isn't
Yeah,
his contract up? Isn't he a free agent?
I
I'm
think it's a
looking it
player
up.
option.
Is it?
I think so because I went and looked at all the free agents a couple of days ago to see like who can the Nuggets go out and get. I'm like and honestly, I just felt like there were not a lot of good free agents this year.
Yeah. Hmm.
Let me see.
All right. So no, I think he is a free agent. No, he agreed to an extension. He has like 2 more years.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, do you keep Allen? I feel like Allen's good. Every time I
I
watch
would,
the
yeah.
Cavs, I'm like, he's solid. Mobley, I hear about him being dominant all the time. I haven't seen it as many times as some other, younger players. But I don't. I mean, I don't go out of my way to watch the Cavs.
Yeah.
I should again. Bad at my job though. We aren't paid for this, guys. We do this just because we like sports, so we can't watch everything because it's not our job yet. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I would consider. I wouldn't move Mobley unless you could get a king's
A
ransom
lot.
for him. Yeah, I mean,
Honestly, if you had, I would consider Giannis. It would be like one of the only people I would be okay with swapping because it's almost a position swap. You
yeah,
lose the shooting because Mobley is a decent shooter, but you also get Giannis.
yeah. I mean, again, name
And
the
when you have Max
team.
Strus on your
Yeah,
team, do you need a shooter?
that's true. That's very true. Did have very good games for
Did.
Cleveland this year. I think it's only fair that we say that as well. But yeah, in the clutch, I mean, that was rough, especially after that text. I mean, and whoever on the team told the media, like,
Whoever leaked that is
clearly they didn't like Max Strus that much either. And so,
right. They're like, hopefully this gets him gone.
yeah. Yeah, so I think Garland is what makes sense. And Garland's what, 30 million a year, something like that?
Yeah, 20 in the 20 to 30 range. I
Yeah.
know he's somewhat expensive,
You
but
just traded for Hunter, so I don't know that they have a ton of assets to give up, do they?
honestly, I don't think so
Yeah.
because they gave it all up to get Hunter.
So it'd
They
have
in
to
the
be
limited.
Garland for either multiple pieces or for a team that is willing to, almost a salary match is what you would
Yeah.
need. 'Cause you're not going to throw picks in there. That'll be wild to see. I don't know. Well, well,
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what teams do this offseason to see if they're going to be as aggressive as I think they should be.
I hope because there are so many teams that it seems like they're there. It seems like that
Yeah,
roster
they're
is
just
there.
out over the
And it,
hill.
yeah.
You just got to get that last piece, and it's like they're stagnant. They're wanting to wait. They're like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't do this. Sometimes you just got to push through and do it. Just like Nike or 22 Jump Street, you just got to push through, man.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think I definitely think that. Yeah, I think Garland's the piece to move. What about for the Celtics? I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but you're not moving Tatum, so Porzingis, who again, say what you want about him, he helped bring them a championship, like he did. He was a big part
Yeah.
about that win, or that run last season. Do you get rid of him and Drew? What are teams willing to give up for Porzingis?
Yeah, because he's injury prone.
Yeah,
He's a little bit older, and Drew Holiday's older.
yeah.
And so you're
Drew's
paying
35. Like Drew's
yeah,
old. Like old.
yeah, you are literally paying for their hardware at this point because Drew has 2 championship rings.
It's true.
And then Chris Tapps has the one. Like
Yeah.
you're paying for the image now at this point because I don't know what's wrong with Tingus Pingus, but he's sick.
Well, and I think what I would be interested in is there a team that just has a surplus of assets that could maybe take on the salary of one or both of those guys? I mean, I would just wonder if the Thunder or the Rockets
The
or
Nets.
yeah, who are these teams with all sorts of stuff? I'm not saying take them both, but like if you could get 2 first-round picks for Porzingis or even one, would you take one for him or one for
Yeah.
Drew? Yeah. And it has to be to a team that's going to be willing to take on salary and might be young. Kind of thinking of Van Fleet in Houston,
Yeah.
right? He's a good part of that team. And it made sense, actually. They were like, hey, all these guys are young. All this talent is young. Like, let's get one vet in here and just see what we can do. And they had a great season. I think.
Yeah, great season.
And he was a part of that. And so I wonder if there is, trying to think of another team that might be Wizards or Toronto or I don't know. I don't know who has the assets, but I think those guys are for sale. I think they can't money-wise keep that team. And so someone's going to go. I
The
wouldn't.
Spurs would be a team to look at with Vassell, Johnson. They
You
have a
know,
lot of guys and the second overall pick.
you know who I really like going to the Spurs? If they were to do that, I wonder if you could get the best return for like a Derek White.
Ooh,
Back
bring him
home to
back.
the Spurs, yeah, and then be on that awesome team with his defense and his shooting. Fun for the Spurs. I don't think
Yeah,
you get the second overall pick, but what's their other one? It's like sixth.
14th.
Oh, 14th. Never mind.
I
It
think
wasn't,
because it
yeah.
was the Hawks. It was the Hawks pick.
Yeah. I mean, do you trade him, if you have the 14th pick, or you're like, yeah, we'll give you this extra one, Boston. It helps with it kind of solves a problem. I don't think you do that. Maybe you do it for Drew Holiday if you like what you saw. A little injury prone. I don't know if you do that for like Porzingis, but Porzingis Wimby, that's an interesting piece, at least on that
That
team.
would be interesting.
Yeah.
I could get down for that.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a team like that, right? That just has a small surplus that feels like, I mean, hey, would Drew Holiday or would Derek White or would Porzingis help with where Wembanyama is, where, all of their young team, Vassell, all of that. I think you keep the young core and add to it and try to help them start making significant runs now. Because obviously Wimby's ready. I mean,
Yeah,
I saw a thing that was like, even though he went out in February, he still would have the most blocks in the NBA.
I did see that. Yeah,
What? Like, that's crazy.
he is he's all over the floor, and it's like that's a crazy stat. Like I was reading the other day, Demarius Thomas is still fourth in receiving yards since 2010.
That's crazy.
And it's like same
Yeah.
thing with Wimby. Like
Yeah.
he hasn't touched the floor in how long, and he's still leading.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
It just
absolutely
shows what a
unbelievable.
great player Wimby is, and how we get to see. Hopefully, bless you.
Thank you.
We get to see him unfold with El Jefe as team president.
Yeah. And if it were me, I would be willing to give up. I think you have the young pieces that you want, right? I feel like, yeah, you just have the roster you want. It's just a couple of veteran pieces that you can get for, I don't want to say bottom dollar, but for teams that are up against an apron where they're kind of like, I think you could give them something. The 14th pick is, I mean, could
It's
be
valuable.
Bam Adebayo. You know what I mean? He went 14.
Giannis
like,
went 14.
yeah, like
Kawhi Leonard went 14.
you can get some talent there. And so, it's just if you're able to, make that selection well. And I feel like,
Yeah.
I feel like Boston might be interested in that, thinking that, hey, we don't necessarily need Drew Holiday or, again, whoever they're willing to go for as a piece. And with that 14th pick, is there a center? Is there someone that could replace Porzingis, potentially, and that's where you wish there was like a Zach Edey or someone who was awesome and I feel like he went he went in the top 10, I think.
He went 9th to the Grizzlies.
Yeah. So, I mean, around there, but Edey's a beast.
He is first rookie all team.
Yeah.
They released
saw that
data.
coming. My cousin, his wife, her family is all from the Purdue area. And so he was really pumped on Edey. And so I watched him in that Purdue March Madness run. And he was a stud through that entire run. I remember watching him and just remembering like this dude is going to kill in the NBA. And it's just huge. And again, it's cool to see. Think of the players that are like, I mean, really changing the game a lot. I know Embiid has been injury prone, but think of Wembanyama, think of Joker, think of, hopefully Edey kind of gets to that point. Like there are these Chet, like center position is so interesting right now. And it's these giant unicorns. It's so cool to see.
That is cool to see.
All right. So let's go then really, really quick let's talk through some NFL news. I feel like we've covered what we think, right? We've covered,
I think so.
Yeah, what the Celtics should do, what the Pacers should do.
Yeah.
So I feel good about it. All right. I really want to talk about just a couple things. First one, Brock Purdy, 5-year, $265 million contract. What is that, 55-ish a year, something like that?
Yeah, he's like the 8th highest paid QB.
What are your thoughts on that?
They should have listened to me and signed your twin, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, they should have brought him home.
Rodgers would have been fun.
It would have been fun. I think I don't know how I feel about it. I think they're paying him on the hopes that injuries were really the problem, and they're going off of his two previous runs.
Yeah, I mean, I think he obviously plays Kyle Shanahan's system really well.
Yeah.
You know, at that price, like think about what Justin Herbert would get in a trade. Like if you wanted to trade for a Justin Herbert or a Trevor Lawrence or one of those guys, like do you consider Brock Purdy that same skill set? I mean, obviously he's managed games really well for the 49ers. I've never felt like he was the reason they lost. I
I
should
agree.
say. Like, I feel like he's never been like, hey, he went like 10 for 35 for like 100 yards and two picks. You know, you're not seeing that game from him.
He honestly, the one game that I can say that, or like I would fight you on, is the playoff game against the Packers. I know they technically
Yeah.
won that game, but it was because Jordan Love threw a bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That was,
Were able to come out on top.
yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I think I don't know that I agree with where, but I also don't think that if the 49ers didn't pay him that and he truly was a free agent, because was
Someone
he a
else
free
would have.
agent this offseason or was he
This
going
was
into
his
last year?
extension. It
Okay.
was his last year.
Yeah. Um, so he could have said no and then played a great season and gotten that money from somewhere else. I don't know. I don't think I would have done it. Um, this guy screams more a good version of like a Trevor Simeon, you know, for you
Yeah,
Broncos
like
fans, like
Daniel
a
Jones. I hate
like
Trevor Siemian.
yeah, but like Trevor Simeon, he wasn't incredible, but he managed games, right? And so
Yeah.
it's like
Well, he
he's
was
not a
going to be a
Joe
lawyer.
Burrow.
He
Yeah,
knew what to do.
exactly. Yeah, and made a decent amount of money. You know,
Huh.
Osweiler, you know, one of a guy like that, and
Cannot believe the Texans went out and paid him as much money as they did.
right. And so I wonder if, in hindsight, we he might be a great quarterback for Kyle Shanahan's system, and now that they've
Yeah.
paid him, I think he could go out and prove it. I guess my argument is, would he be that same level of quarterback not in Kyle Shanahan's system? It's kind of
It's
the
like,
Belichick Brady thing,
yeah, I
right?
was
Like,
just about to say, it's
yeah,
like Belichick and Brady. Did you hear he got engaged to his 24-year-old girlfriend or
I
now fiance?
I saw rumors about it. Is it like
It is
real?
true. Yeah.
Wow.
It was all over the radio today. I
Gosh.
was like, geez.
I mean, even if you prenupped it, that's still she's just got to hang around
Yeah, you just got to
he
hang out for
passes. He's
maybe.
like, isn't he in his
He's
70s?
73.
Yeah, you got to hang out for like 15 years. You got to, yeah, that,
6 of those rings will be yours, honey. Don't worry.
yeah. Well, again, if you sign a prenup, no, like he'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
good. He'd
Prenup,
be
no.
covered because it's basically like all the assets that he's bringing into the marriage remain his, and then the
Yeah.
assets that you build together, which would still be good. I think UNC is going to be paying him pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, she seems it's a lot. The media
It is
clearly
a
doesn't
lot.
like her. It's weird because she's like kind of his publicist. She like works for him too, which I find wild. Which is,
Yeah.
I think that's why people don't like it so much, right? Like, it's that she's commenting on things and she's just his girlfriend. But it's like, as his publicist, is that unusual or is it not? Like for a publicist to say that, I don't know. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
you know. And I've seen arguments for both. I don't know. It's wild though. 49-year difference. I mean,
Right?
bro. What's the reason, you know, if you're
True.
looking like that and you're the greatest coach of all time, like cash in, man. Just cash in, get the sweet, hot babe, and keep it moving. But man, because young Bill Belichick did not think he would be in that level of lady, you know? Like so
Right? Yeah.
I think he is yeah, I think he's just like pumped to be there and just like, yeah, you want to be in
He's here
charge?
for the ride at this point.
That's the wildest part to me because he was an NFL coach. Like you think it'd be like he doesn't want to be bossed around by anyone, but he's like kind of gets bossed around. Maybe he's into
Yeah.
like BDSM stuff. Who knows? You're into what you're into. I shouldn't judge you. Purdy's contract, I feel like is yeah. I think in this system, again, Kyle Shanahan would know. You know, he is a
Yeah.
He's known for being very good with quarterbacks, and so I think he would know if it was a good or a bad situation for them. And I still trust him enough to think that he might be good in that system and do well with Ayuk as number one and no Debo and hopefully a healthy Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I heard rumors that he might get traded to the Bears
Why the Bears?
because they need. So it's what DeAndre Swift was on the Lions, right?
Right.
And then Ben Johnson gets hired and DeAndre Swift gets pushed out. Now DeAndre Swift is on the Bears, does a season. Ben Johnson comes in, and now they feel like that Ben Johnson's going to push him out again.
And they just feel like, hey, we're getting rid of Swift. Obviously, we're going to bring in McCaffrey. Like, what?
Yeah, they're like,
That's
they
crazy.
think that they could offer a pick next year or something.
Okay.
Just a single pick, I heard, was like they think a second rounder for McCaffrey.
Oh, you can't do it for a 2. If it's a 1, maybe. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I'd rather have McCaffrey than a second round pick. I mean, no
Yeah.
offense to second round picks, but McCaffrey is, when he's healthy, is special. It's just, he's been like
Gonna be
getting
healthy.
those like Eastern European like embryos though. He's
Yeah,
been,
he goes to Germany.
yeah, he's been getting that good Europe embryos. Rodgers, you were talking about him earlier, still not signed with the team.
Yeah. I I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know. I don't like the suspense.
I mean, at what point are you going to do it? Like, or are
Just
you
sign
not?
someone.
Yeah, it's just like at this point, the chips have all fallen. Free agency and the draft have happened. What
Yeah, you
other information do you need, man?
you not signing in Pittsburgh is probably a good reason on why Pickens got traded.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, or it was them clearing up space for Rodgers. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, but it couldn't be because Rodgers will cost more than, I mean, Pickens
Yeah.
was on a rookie salary and
Yeah.
not like the number one overall, and so I think that would have been tough anyway. But I mean, it's weird. It's weird.
It is
I,
weird.
I definitely, I don't know what his plan is or if he plans to play. And I wonder if he's going to be getting the size contract that he feels like is worth it, or is like Rodgers going to go somewhere for like $10 million bucks? You know
Yeah,
what I
is he
mean?
just going to take a pay? No, I don't know if it's considered a pay cut, but definitely a pay cut. Because
Yeah.
he's definitely not going to make what money he was in the 20. I don't think he's worth 30 million anymore.
It'd be hard to justify after injury and then really bad
Exactly.
year. Again,
Yeah, it's hard to
some
give.
some people on this podcast pointed out that going to a team with a terrible offensive line wasn't going to work out, and I'm not saying that I'm right. It's just like he was all smitten with being a stud in New York, and it's like you don't have an offensive line there,
Yeah.
man. It is the worst offensive line in football. Like, oh, best of luck. And yeah, did not work out for him super well. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's gonna be. I hope he signs soon.
Do you think
I
it'll
really
be Pittsburgh? That's where you think he goes?
It has to be. They have such a bad quarterback option right now.
I'm trying to think who. I don't think it'd be New York.
Right.
They're packed. I don't think it's Cleveland. They have a pretty crowded quarterback room. Although,
Yeah.
well, you can't with the Watson contract. There's no way. And you just paid Myles Garrett. I mean, unless Rodgers is like, I'll come in and play for nothing. But why? There's nothing about the Cleveland Browns that make you think they're going to be
There's
incredible.
literally no offense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they don't have Nick Chubb. I mean, they took another running back.
Krishan Judkins, the dude that
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah.
I really wanted him to come to Denver because he's pretty much like he's almost like Jahmyr Gibbs. He's
Yeah.
just an absolute stud, and they got. It just sucks. I hate seeing good players go to crappy franchises.
But what if Chubb comes to Denver?
I would
And
be
talking
totally
about that,
for it.
I think
I've
everyone's
been
kind of
seeing-
like, give him some
I
money.
want Chubb or J.K. Dobbins.
Oh yeah, that'd be good if JK can stay
As long as
healthy.
JK, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it would be nice to have J.K. R.J. Harvey. We'll see.
Yeah,
Because that once J.K. gets hurt, Harvey can kind of just take off.
there you go. I mean, and I think that same thing with Chubb. Like, once Chubb and Chubb's last season wasn't great. I mean, he wasn't getting the
No.
yardage. I wonder if that injury has kind of ruined his.
I think
Knocked
the
him out of his
Browns
prime.
might have. I think the Browns might not have played him fully. They didn't give him a lot of play time.
Hmm.
In reality, I think they were still milking it a little bit, trying to give him some goal line touches, but
Right.
only if they would give a lot of touches to Jerome Ford.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, going to be crazy. So the last thing then, I have two quarterback situations in two rooms: the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. Want to talk through it?
One's a party, and the other one is just a child's playpen.
Yeah,
Just rookies.
I saw a thing that Pickett might be looking like he's the guy
Really?
in Cleveland. I mean, I don't, who knows if it's verified or anything. I've also seen stuff where Shador seems like a more NFL ready quarterback than Dylan Gabriel, which
That's what I've been hearing.
yeah,
I've been hearing a lot of good things about Shador.
we'll see.
And
I mean, if he wins that job, it'll be such a dramatic ascension. And then if he's good as well, I mean, obviously his draft interviews, I mean, terrible,
sucks.
terrible. And like, I don't. I think the Sanders brand is confidence, and if he can win that job and just be a stud, like that'd be what an incredible. We've
What
all
a
been
story.
like, yeah. Well, you were in Colorado and you weren't good. There could have been a million reasons why the team Colorado didn't win. I don't know that. I don't know. Maybe he'll be great. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. Um, and then the Giants. I mean, just the Russ
But,
Jameis, like the Russ
oh my
Jameis thing
gosh. And
must
then
be
Jackson
hilarious.
Dart,
Who?
yeah,
Yeah,
looks like
people.
a stud.
I mean, that's what they're saying. Yeah, it looks good.
Did you see the Broncos did their schedule release and we're playing the Giants? Did you happen to watch the schedule release at all?
I didn't know.
So it's a bunch of kids riding sheep and like pretty much getting knocked down, and the kids are wearing whatever
Oh,
team we're playing.
okay.
And I, the announcer, when the Giants come, he's like, "Oh, they're gonna regret that one. That's a mistake." And they think they're referencing Russ, the Russ signing. So it's
Man.
yeah, it. I don't know if Russ. I bet you Malik Neighbors is happy. I can tell you that much.
To at least have, I mean, a couple
Two
options. He
quarterbacks
probably
that, yeah.
wants he probably wants Jameis to do it. Like just
Oh yeah.
bomb it to me
He's
every
like,
time.
Gary
Every
Judy
time.
was a top 3 receiver with
Yeah.
Winston. I'll take
Yeah.
it, please.
Dude, for real. I mean, crazy. That'd be funny if Jameis did come out as the guy
That would be
there.
wild. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what? Dart, just watch how this guy does it.
Yeah.
He was a former first overall pick. He
Yeah.
eats W's.
He throws for yards and INTs, that's for sure.
Pick sixes, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
man. All right. Well, I think we talked through all the things. I'm excited for game 1 tonight of the Western Conference Finals. That'll be fun. Is game 1 of Eastern Conference tomorrow?
Yep.
Oh, dang, getting right into
Yeah,
it.
so we're starting to get the swing, so I'm excited for it.
Me
I'm
too.
ready.
I know. We've gotten a little bit of a reprieve. Obviously, wish that it was a team that I rooted for more, but I might be.
Right.
I might be a Knicks. I might be leaning Knicks, or maybe. I mean, maybe OKC. They haven't won one. It's crazy. Like, who? It's all people that franchises that either haven't won in a long time or have never won, and
Yeah.
guys that have been good that have never, brought home a ring. So it'll be cool to see who gets
Yeah.
it.
I'm really excited for
Yeah.
that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because exactly, Pacers have never won,
Yeah.
Timberwolves have never won. The Thunder, when they won, they were the Supersonics in '79.
Right. Yeah. So it
And the
doesn't
Knicks
really
won in
count.
'73. Exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
count.
Doesn't. And so I'm definitely excited for that. There is something nice about when the teams that you root for, for me the Heat, for you the Nuggets. I like the Nuggets too. I definitely root for them. When that team gets knocked out, you kind of just get to
Enjoy the
it
sport.
without a bias, like, and just be like, "Whoa, this is so fun." Which again, cannot stress this enough. Prefer to have the team that I root for
Exactly.
in the
I would
conference
much rather
finals.
be
Like,
watching the Nuggets right now.
exactly. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just silver lining to a rainy cloud here. You do
Exactly.
get to just enjoy it and just watch. History's going to happen one way or the other.
Yeah,
So
we have a
it's cool.
possibility to see Ant and Jalen Brunson in the finals, and
That'd be
that's
cool.
something I'm really excited about. And
That'd be, yeah, that would be
you
cool.
know, I remember when the Super Bowl, I was saying Philly is either, if they win, crime rate's going up. If they
Oh, yeah.
lose, crime rate's going up.
Yeah.
Same thing for New York.
Definitely
They
same
lose,
thing for New York.
crime rate
Oh,
is
man.
going up.
Yeah.
If they win, crime rate is going up because they
love-
already have people on the light, like street signs and such.
I would love to know, like, yeah, if the price of, like boards to cover your windows as a business go up if a team in the Northeast is making a playoff push. If you're just
Right.
we might
this is
want to,
our
yeah,
this is our surplus time of year, you know.
exactly. All of a sudden, a 4x8, piece of plywood is $35, and you're like, what is going on?
We gotta
Cool.
protect the windows.
Well, I think we did it for this week. We have a game tipping off here in about an hour and a half, so we're gonna check it out. We'll talk next week, and man, what a fun time!
It is a fun time. I'm excited. I'm ready for football. I'm ready for the finals. Ready for a new champion.
Me
First
too.
time in NBA history, the past 7 years, it's been a different champion. So
I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
it's great to see something different. I hated that stretch of the Warriors Cavs. Glad that is out of the way.
Again, you only like that if it's your team, and then you're pumped,
Exactly.
and you're just
And
like
we're not-
dominance. Yeah.
I'm not from Cleveland and I'm not from Golden State, so it really sucked.
LeBron had me as a Heat fan sold on
Pumped,
not 5, not 6, not 7. It was we got 2. Hey, I'm very grateful. I mean, we tripled or doubled our total of championships, and so I guess tripled. I don't know. We had 2. We had 1 before LeBron came. Then now we have 3. Cool. All right. Well, hey man, we will talk soon. We'll talk next week.
Yep. Talk later.
All right, dude. See ya.
See ya.